1:15. This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. News edited by Catherine Pereira, read by Heshma Samat. The headlines. The President says that imputed rental income tax not intended for average income earners. The government is bound to safeguard the rights of women through the implementation of Women Empowerment Draft Bill. Supreme Court rules several clauses of Telecom Amendment Bill are unconstitutional. 11 government schools in the Anuradhapura district will be closed in order to provide facilities for the police officials who will provide security for the Poson festival. The 100th birth anniversary of the former president, late Ranasinghe Premadasa, will take place on the 23rd of this month. Foreign news. Putin to visit North Korea for the first time in 24 years. Local news in detail. Delivering a special statement in Parliament today, President Ranil Wickremesinghe commented on the introduction of the proposed imputed rental income tax. The President gave an assurance that the first property would be exempted from taxation, while also noting that it is intended to focus on high net worth individuals and not average income earners, the President's media division reported. No one should be alarmed by the proposed imputed rental income tax, as 90% of the house and property owners will not be affected by it, President Ranil Wickremesinghe told Parliament today. He was referring to a question raised by opposition leader Sajith Premadasa in the House today. Premadasa, who raised objections to the proposed tax, highlighted the need for expanding the tax net and making the tax administration efficient. The President said the government is agreeable to expanding the tax net and making the tax administration efficient. The President also said that the government is bound to safeguard the rights of women through the implementation of the Women Empowerment Draft Bill. He pointed out that the facts included in the draft bill will be presented to the attention of the judiciary. He also said that the freedom of the judiciary has been strengthened by the Constitution. He stated that the extremism is not needed for the country and the acts of extremism should be stopped. The Speaker of Parliament today announced the Supreme Court's determination on the proposed Sri Lanka Telecommunications Amendment Bill. Accordingly, the Supreme Court has determined that several clauses of the bill are inconsistent with the Constitution. As per the court's ruling, these clauses will require a special majority in Parliament to be passed. However, if the contentious clauses are amended, they can be passed with a simple majority, it further states. 11 government schools in the Anuradhapura district will be closed in order to provide facilities for the police officials who will provide security for the Poson festival that are conducted in Mihintale and Tantrimale in the Anuradhapura district. More than 3,000 police officials have been deployed for the security in Anuradhapura. Chairman of the Sri Lanka Transport Board, Lalit Dialvis, said that 400 buses have been deployed for the convenience of devotees. Special bus service are operating from Kandy to Kurunegala. The 100th birth anniversary of the former president, late Ranasinghe Premadasa, will take place on the 23rd of this month. He was a great leader and rendered yeoman services for the country. He entered the politics as a parliamentarian of the Suduvalla division of the Colombo Municipal Council. He was a pioneer of Udugam concept Janasiya Sarana program and had done greater service for the development in the apparel sector in the country. He was a people's-friendly political leader. He was elected as the second executive president at the 1988 presidential election.
The main news story is brought to you by Sinhala Mahatmya.
Chairman of the Election Commission RMAL Ratnayaka says that the date for any election will be announced by the Election Commission. He stated that the politicians have no right to declare the voting date. He also stated that the Commission has the power to announce the date after the 17th of next month. RMAL Ratnayaka said that the related work is currently being carried out at the district level.
The main news story was brought to you by Sinhala Mahatmya.
In Watchlight, the National Water Supply and Drainage Board has announced that the water supply to Godagama, Homagama, Panipitiya, Palanwatta, Rukmalgama and Mattegoda areas has been restored today. The water supply in these areas was interrupted due to damage to the transmission pipeline from the Kalathuwava treatment plant. The NWS and DB states that due to this, the water supply to a number of areas in the Colombo district was disrupted and the damaged pipeline has been repaired. The water supply was restored by around 2 a.m. today. Accordingly, the water board said that the water supply to some remote areas will be restored in the next few hours.
Coming up, World News.
Headlines. Putin to visit North Korea for the first time in 24 years. 11 dead and dozens missing in 2 shipwrecks. Netanyahu dissolves Israeli war cabinet, officials say. Russian President Vladimir Putin has praised North Korea for firmly supporting Moscow's war in Ukraine ahead of his first visit to Pyongyang in 24 years. Mr. Putin is expected to arrive in the capital to meet North Korean leader Kim Jong-un today. The two leaders last met in September at the Vostochny Cosmodrome in Russia's Far East, but this is Mr. Putin's first visit to Pyongyang since 2000. In a letter published in North Korean state media, Mr. Putin promised to build trade and security systems with Pyongyang that are not controlled by the West. At least 11 people have died and more than 60 are missing as a result of 2 shipwrecks off the coast of southern Italy, rescuers say. German charity rescue ship said it picked up 51 people from a sinking wooden boat and found 10 bodies trapped in the lower deck near the island of Lampedusa yesterday. In a separate incident on the same day, more than 60 people were reported missing, with 26 of them feared to be children. Médecins Sans Frontières said the boats were carrying migrants who had set off from Libya and Turkey, UN agencies said. Survivors of the shipwreck near Lampedusa were headed over to the Italian Coast Guard and taken ashore on Monday morning while the deceased were being towed to the island, according to rescue ship. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu dissolved the influential war cabinet, tasked with steering the war in Gaza, Israeli officials said yesterday, a move that comes days after a key member of the body bolted the government over frustrations surrounding the Israeli leader's handling of the war. The move was widely expected following Benny Gantz departure earlier this month, which he said came after mounting frustrations over Netanyahu's handling of the war. Gantz's absence makes Netanyahu more dependent on his ultra-nationalist allies to govern, and the dissolution of the war cabinet underlines that shift is underway as Israel continues its 8-month-long war in Gaza.
Development News.
State Minister Janaka Wakkumara says that the Maduwan Walauva in the Kolonna Divisional Secretariat Division will be developed as a tourist destination. The approval from the Archaeological Department is expected to improve the facilities of it. And we move on to sports news.
Moving on with sports news.
Nicholas Pooran was run out agonizingly short of a maiden T20 World Cup 100 as a rampant West Indies humbled Afghanistan by 104 runs in a clash of unbeaten teams yesterday. With both sides already into the Super 8s, Pooran smashed 98 of 53 balls in the final group match at the Darren Sammy Stadium in St. Lucia to propel the hosts to 218-5 after being put into bat. Sri Lanka key athletes Kalinga Kumarage, Aruna Darshana and Tharushi Karunaratne and Nadika Lekamge are expected to take part in few overseas meets to focus on Olympic qualification. Kalinga Kumarage, the 400-meter champion, and Tharushi Karunaratne, 800-meter athletes, are planning to take part in the Spain International Athletic Meet today.
Go ekak thiyana youth eකට life එකේ change එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න ඇස් වහගෙන දැකපු හින හැබැ කරන්න youth එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න friendship එක මෙන්න.
The all-new NSB Ithru Mithru account, NSB I Am, a plan for your dream.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
The Sri Lankan High Commission has organized and brought in ambassadors, high commissioners and a high-level diplomatic community from around 28 countries to attend the Source Sri Lanka Fashion and Textile Trade Show, making it a huge global audience. Sri Lankan High Commissioner in the United Kingdom, Rohitha Bogalagama, also attended the event along with several lords, barons and top UK business leaders. That came to you in Business News.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
Go ekak thiyana youth eකට life එකේ change එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න ඇස් වහගෙන දැකපු හින හැබැ කරන්න youth එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න friendship එක මෙන්න.
The all-new NSB Ithru Mithru account. NSB IAM, a plan for your dream.
Economic news this afternoon. The Ceylon Chamber of Commerce and the Global Alliance for a Sustainable Planet signed a memorandum of understanding to tackle urgent climate change issues and promote sustainable development globally. This partnership comes as the recent Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change report highlights a significant risk of global temperatures rising 1.5 Celsius above pre-industrial levels within the next few years due to increasing greenhouse gas emissions.
Weather report.
The prevailing rainy conditions in the southwestern part of the island are expected to enhance in the next few days from tomorrow, the forecasting division of the National Meteorological Centre said. They said several spells of showers will occur in the western Sabaragamuwa and northwestern provinces and in the Galle, Matara, Kandy and Nuwara districts. Strong winds of 50 km per hour can be expected over the western slopes of the Central Hills, northern, north central and northwestern provinces and in the Trincomalee, Hambantota and Monaragala districts. A recap of the headlines. The President says that imputed rental income tax not intended for average income earners. The government is bound to safeguard the rights of women through the implementation of the Women Empowerment Draft Bill. Supreme Court rules several clauses of Telecom Amendment Bill are unconstitutional. 11 government schools in the Anuradhapura district will be closed in order to provide facilities for the police officials who will provide security for the Poson festival. The 100th birth anniversary of the former president, late Ranasinghe Premadasa, will take place on the 23rd of this month. Foreign news. Putin to visit North Korea for the first time in 24 years. That wraps up the main news bulletin this afternoon and we proceed with lunchtime music.